Hi, my name is Sally Bernard, an artist, author, and spiritual experiencer. Welcome to Call Me Zena, a true story into the spiritual realms. Join me as I sit and discuss the journey of self-discovery and awakening with the help of my spirit guides. It's time to trust your intuition. This is your inner knowings. Through questions and points of conversation, I can help others feel empowered. With the ability to touch people's past lives, I help others connect and not feel alone. Sit with me and call in live, 888-994-4995. Hi, I'm Sally Bernard. As you can see, my show is Call Me Zena, so when you call in, I'd love to receive your calls. Ask for Zena, that's going to be me. We have a great show today. Hopefully quite a few people are going to be calling in with some beautiful questions. I have my girlfriend here, who is my soul sister, Rose, sitting with me, and she's going to start asking me a few questions to get the ball rolling, so to speak, so that we can answer some questions that you have, okay? If you have my book, go through my book. If there's anything in there that you might see that you might like to ask me, I'm here and available to answer for you. I have a wonderful story. It's strange, but every piece of it is absolutely true. This started for me 16 years ago, and I'm still learning, just like everybody else, but I find that I'm awakening now to everything in the universe as best I can. So ask me questions, okay? Thank you. Rose, start with a question for me.
Sally, it's very fun to come back doing your show. And I was thinking, it's like, because your viewers, this is your second show, I'm sure they want to get to know you and who you are and how, if they missed your first show,
Okay.
just giving a little bit of update and,
Okay.
It's like how you started getting connected with the
I'd be happy
galactic
to tell
beings.
them. Okay. If you're not familiar with my story, this happened about maybe 18 years ago. I knew very little about the spiritual world. I went to bed one night and I had a dream that I thought I was flying, and I said, that can't be possible. I woke up and I said, where was I last night? And suddenly I said, this was a little strange. I really felt like I was flying, and I said, that can't be possible. I go to work and suddenly someone comes into my workplace and they said to me, I know where you were last night. I think I repeated this in my last show, but for people that don't know, I said, I have no idea where I was. Where was I? And he proceeded to tell me that I was flying, which I had felt. I said, this is not possible. So anybody out there, just to give you a little clue, I was astral projecting, but I did not know and had no idea what astral projection was.
And how amazing for that person's name Aldo, being there for you, and then he become later on your guide.
He was, yes.
Then throughout the years.
The strangest part of the story is that he had been looking for me from other lifetimes, and there I was, but he waited for me to have an opening to say to him I had had some sort of experience that I had no idea what it was. And here he was standing in front of me, who knew everything about me. I did not know that then. I probably would have turned my back and walked away, but I didn't, and I started to listen. But one of my messages, Rose, which to me gave me the validation that I needed, on one of my journeys of flying, I was going down a little alleyway and someone was drawing, and they said to me, you can do this, go and get some crayons and start to draw. I had never ever been able to draw, not even, and I absolutely can tell you, not even a straight line.
Oh my God.
But suddenly I kind of listened and I said, no, I can't draw, but I'm drawing. And I'm drawing. This
and
is the
look,
result.
these are
Yes,
beautiful art.
Result, yes.
Beautiful art.
And I have like 150 paintings today from my inner being. I have no idea. I know that there is so much more. I am led to do this. I have drawn from centuries ago, different lifetimes, that now I am beginning to remember, because this is 18 years on, and obviously I want to know more. And for me, myself, I believe totally in my lifetimes now, which my friend Adamir in my book, that was Aldo, who passed last year, was telling me, but he made me talk first before he would validate. And to me, for me personally, that was my my complete validation, because I'm drawing it.
Right, and you know, it's like he wasn't forceful, and he was coming to your life for a right time to help you the right way. And also, when I look at your pictures, the paintings, it just reminds me, it's like in my awakening, it's like how I perceive the energy. It's like the vibrations, and it's just like everything interlocking to each other. It's just like everything connected, like different. There's a different shapes and sizes, colors. It's like, you know, we're different like pixels, but we are all same. It's just like when you put it together, all comes together. It's beautiful art. It just like reminds me of how the energy flows around the earth.
This is more energy that came in a little later on, but to me, my validation is that I'm drawing from other lifetimes. I'm drawing buildings, I'm drawing signs, and I'm drawing symbols that I know that I haven't seen in this lifetime. Where am I getting these images from?
I saw some of the images, because we shared a lifetime in other lifetime in Ottoman Empire in Turkey, and you had a drawing from like a village girl with the little decorative hat, you know, like with the little coins on her head, and you know, it's like the man next to it with the outfit. It's like a kind of shepherds used to wear.
And did you notice the buildings that I've done? Because I never knew that we were going to meet in this lifetime. And I'm going back many years ago, but someone said to me, this is from Turkey, these buildings that I do.
Absolutely.
So to me personally, and for you, we have met because we have known each other in other lifetimes. This was a validation that I needed. I was very stubborn. I wouldn't open up to what I know now. It took me to be able to draw, which I'm being told that I can do this and that I need to spread this word to people.
It's so hard sometimes, you know, like for awakening person to, you know, I went through that hard time too. I'm sure you have too. Being awakening, and then our realities are slowly starting to change. And, you know, we start experiencing different dimensions. And but the people here are still in the third dimension, our family, friends, and trying to share that. And I got like, you know, a lot of criticism, and I've been called crazy, and I had been admitted to the hospital, and as you know.
And I totally can relate to that, Rose, but I think my clue for myself, because I needed more validation, but for any of our viewers that are out there, to tell you that you're not crazy, you are different, because I definitely felt different. I suddenly, when I started to open all this up to myself with the help of Adamir Alder, who was my friend, I was having difficulty relating here. However, I knew that we had to find a balance. So I didn't want to go completely overboard and say, oh, this is unbelievable what's happening to me. I kept grounded for viewers too. But there is a different, things are happening that we feel that we can't explain away. But when you have this inner knowing, it suddenly begins to appear. We get, it's not just us. There are many people out there, and I'm sure the viewers can relate to this, that you're saying, how is this possible? Is it coincidence? And then you go into it a little further. And my advice is to go into it a little further, to just see maybe this is a lesson here that we're meant to be learning. Obviously, I'm a believer in past lives. I believe we've had many.
Right.
I can't force my beliefs on anybody. I can only tell you the proof that I've had from this.
My advice, like when somebody asks me, you know, I am just saying, first thing when you start having these kind of experiences, start finding spiritual friends, and it's like mind-like people, because otherwise it is hard, and you will feel. I did feel sometimes I still have to check myself, and I have to be close to my spiritual friends, because people on third dimension, it's, you know, still they're in sleeping. That we call, it's like one of us waking, I'm waking, they're not, and they're gonna still think I'm crazy, and then it's gonna make me feel weird.
Think you know, they call it the law of attraction, which I truly do believe in, because what you put out there, you get back.
Right.
So if there's anybody out there at this point that's listening to this show, I would love you to call in. You have the opportunity to speak to myself and to Rose. and I would be happy to answer any of your questions. I was lucky enough to have Aldo in my life. So all these things that started to happen, this man, he seemed to have come in with his knowing. Just to explain a little background on
Right.
Aldo. He passed
Yeah.
about a year ago. I still hear him, I see him, I feel him. He's still giving me messages, but for 18 years, a day didn't go by that I did not speak to this person. He had looked for me in this lifetime and he found me, and I feel that if I'm channeling my collective, but I'm also channeling Aldo. So if any of the viewers out there, please feel free to call with the number. Is
Yes, I think the
it
number
should
is.
be on the screen. I don't know, but
And like a lot of people ask me, and you could channel through. There is, some of the things I'm asking. I know the answers. We both believe the same things, and we both see the same things. But I'm going to ask anyway
please
for our
do.
viewers.
Yeah, please do.
It's like like in galaxies, there is a different life forms, and there is a different world. Can you describe some of these kind of worlds to our viewers, because you've been astral project and you've been traveled to some of these places?
I actually went to many different planets, and what I felt from the few planets that I wrote about in my book is that it's not so unsimilar to where we are here in this planet. I actually wrote that down. I mean, I went into like courtyards of people and they were sitting there with their dogs. The only difference is, as we mature more in our spirituality, we go to a higher level of our thinking, if you want to so call it. So we're on a higher dimension. The one from here to the fourth or fifth dimension is not that different, only we're beginning to get an insight into what's happening. So I went to many fifth dimension planets. I can tell you that it's not a lot of difference. The technology that I saw there is actually catching up here. We have to be very careful here, from what I hear from them, not to continue to, we need the balance, and that's very important. We are being watched from different dimensions. Many people from the other planets are watching us, because what we do here, Rose, affects what goes out there.
Absolutely.
So indirectly, we are actually hurting the other planets as ourselves. They have more knowledge and more knowing of what's going on, but they've got to protect themselves too. My thinking, we are not alone. So we have to be very, very, very careful in protecting this planet and what we put out there.
And like
For us and for
you,
them.
with the global warming, and we both believe, and I checked it too. It's like, because we are the only species on Earth, damages this Earth, other than the humans. The things we do, it's like that. Like we damage our environment a lot.
We are doing a lot of damage. What is happening now is that we are becoming more conscious of what we're doing. We can just sit here and say, that's the way it is. We drive cars, we do a lot of things that are putting bad things into the universe. But what we really need to do is take stock, and I think they're beginning to say that we can't go on this way, because eventually something is going to happen. My belief is we are definitely not alone, and we are being protected, but they can only protect us so much. We are still in a 3D dimension.
Yes.
And it's a lower dimension. So we've got to say, for all of us that maybe believe in this, we've got to higher our feelings, our dimension, just good thoughts. That's
Right.
all I can say. Spread love. I know it's very cliche, but it does work. It works.
Definitely. When I was going through my awakening, also I find out living different dimensions in here, it's possible. I was in and out of different dimension in here. Like I was able to see, visualize, and see. Like for example, the cars were like kind of. Driving down, I was driving, like the cars were like kind of like floating. It's just no stress. It's like the people are more slower motion.
Well, you've been lucky enough to go into another dimension, Rose. I have too. There are many people out there that are going into different dimensions. They're just not aware of it. They think they're dreaming. But try, again, to our viewers, if this is happening to you, if you can relate to any part of this, and I totally understand if you can't, but if you can, and this is what I did when I had Alda come into my life. It was difficult in the beginning, but there is so much more that we don't know, and we need to protect our planet. This is, we had no idea we were going to talk about this, but it's very, very relevant.
Yeah, this is totally spontaneous. We didn't plan any of these to
I think
talk
we have
about.
a viewer calling in.
They're writing in actually.
Okay.
No, they're just writing in.
Oh, okay. Your story is amazing. So I don't have my glasses on. Can you read it to me?
Okay,
So,
Gino Scala writes in, your story is amazing, Sally, and you turn this complete non-believer into an absolute believer and supporter. Do you believe in other paranormal skills that people claim, like psychic abilities or dowsing in order to find a treasure of people?
absolutely, I do. It's just, we have to tell ourselves and believe this, that we have to open up to so much more. And then we see so many different things. That was a great call, and I appreciate that. Because if you're not looking, you don't find. But when you begin to understand a little bit, and as I have with my story, it did not happen overnight, but I was getting so many different things. There is so many, with my, I call it within the territory that I've experienced, I've become very psychic myself. So there is nothing that I hear that I don't, even if I don't believe it at the time, I will look into it and I'll feel it and I get the messages. So yes, go into yourself, take note of coincidences, because there's so much more going on that we don't know. Does that answer your question, or is there anything that I can add to that? I am in a trance,
Yeah,
but
I think
mainly
that's-
people do not know that. I don't do all these, like, I call upon my collective and I get the results from them. They channel it through me. I don't always remember what I say, but I'm very open to any questions where I am right now. So I'm going to say that I am in a trance. However, you may not realize it. Is there any questions?
Thank you, Sally. That was beautiful. Yeah, when you're talking to galactics and you get your information, it's totally amazing. Thank you. One other things, like when I was going through my awakening, maybe some stuff like these happening to other people too, they could maybe could relate. You know how moon affects us with the energies, and there was times, and basically my higher self was saying, go inside, don't be under the moonlight, because it was like kind of, sometimes it was making me a little bit more like, you know, sometimes it was affecting me in a very positive way, sometimes it was affecting me negative. So to order to prevent the negative.
Well, we're getting stronger vibrations. When the moon is closer, I mean, we get validation from that, saying people are lunar. Okay, so that made me begin to think that there is a connection with the moon. There are many theories on the moon, and one in particular that it was man-made. I can only channel what I hear. I don't know the answer to that. I feel that that is very possible. I am told that it was man-made. But the vibrations, as we nearer that part where we're nearer the moon, we do get a full moon. Mm-hmm. It does affect people. We see that. The hospitals have also turned around and said they get many, many more accidents when there's a full moon. Lunatic. Okay.
So you believe it might be the moon, might be the man-made?
Personally, for my own personal, and I can only tell you what I hear and what I channel, yes, it was man-made for this planet. We all have different moons and different suns even on different planets. But for this particular one, yes. But I don't want people to say, I don't know, but that's what I feel, yes. Yes, it is.
That's amazing. That's amazing information. You only heard it here. That's amazing information.
So if there's anything else, I'm right there with my collective right now.
Mm-hmm. So
I think we have a caller. Do we have a caller? Dawn, is there anybody? Or a question that you may have?
Okay.
Rose is doing wonderfully. Thank you, my soul sister.
You're welcome. My soul body you know, like my, you know, I left my actual body down here, and my soul was rise up, like they took it up to the some kind of spaceship when I was going through some problems, and because they didn't want me to feel the pain, because I was cut off from my medication, and without the medication I supposed to be like suffering and couldn't sleep, but the actual galactic beings, and they kind of gave me a secret like the moving my hand, but I can't remember after that, like, and then they were taking me up there.
Okay.
And so I didn't feel anything, you know. It's
So
like,
your question would be.
my question is, you know, it's like, I know it's like we could take our soul up there, but my body was down here. My
Okay,
actual
that's called
body.
paralysis. We have paralysis here. I experienced a lot on my astral projection when I was traveling around. Physically, my body was here, but I was taken. We have an astral plane, and I knew nothing. I mean, this is what I learned because I was going every day, every 3 times a week for a year. So I was going to many different places. So from what I experienced, I was here. It seems like where we go is a long time, but actually it's a matter of 5 or 10 minutes. But it takes us to the astral plane, and then we can actually go to different planets. I did. I went to different planets, as you did too. I believe, and this is just my theory, that we have to be ready to receive this. I think that many people do this, we just don't remember. There is, and scientists are now, I believe, even thinking about, there is an astral plane. Right. Where we go. We can actually direct where we want to go. I was watching a movie last night, actually, which was amazing, and within that is the astral projection. They were saying things I don't completely agree, because it didn't happen with me. It doesn't mean that they're not wrong. They're wrong. That you can choose where you want to go. You have to know the place that you want to go within the movie that I was watching. I don't believe that you have to know unless I've known it in different lifetimes, because I went to many different planets. I may have been on many different planets. But if you believe this and you truly want to go, as you did, and you were, I call it flying, we can transport ourselves to many different places. It's an amazing thing. It's amazing.
It is like, because I didn't have any education, I didn't have any spiritual people around me when I started awakening in the beginning. It was, to me, it was like a dream, and then, but later on, these dreams become like, when I wasn't sleeping, I was awake. You know, it's like,
well,
things happened to me when I was, you know, it's like walking down the street and seeing the cars are moving so much slow paced, and then certain, for example, it's like I was like seeing people like different and but I knew those people wouldn't belong to here, but it was walking down the Brickell Street.
It's real, just like where we are now. I mean, I've written a lot of prose and I talk about the illusion. I knew nothing about the illusion. I believe that we're in a dream right here. I don't expect people to understand that. It took me a long time with Aldo explaining to me, but I call this an illusion. We're actually dreaming this.
I think we should maybe we should just try to explain that, because that's a good way of like, after a long battle with me to trying to understand, and then that was very helpful to me, the understanding.
We have another question.
Okay.
I've lost 3 main family members over the years, none of which did I have the opportunity to physically say goodbye to. Is there a way to connect with them in this dimension? This is from Stephen Sperling.
Okay, yes, there is. Just as you're asking me the question, just talk to your relatives of who you have lost. With all my heart, because I've actually had my own validation on this, because I've lost 4 people within the year that were very close, including my daughter. You will be validated. I truly believe that they can hear you. They just ask and talk as you're talking now to me. Say the same thing and look for signs. Don't go crazy saying that could be them or this could be them, but the signs that they will give you will be very relevant. I speak to my friend Aldo a lot, who passed away a year ago, and I ask him, because he knew my triggers. So I say, give me some validation on the TV. I will say something. I will hear it on the television. I mean, how do you explain that? So my answer is ask questions, talk to them, and just look for the signs.
Thank you. That's wonderful. And because we both, I have other question, and maybe not a question, maybe just like explaining. There is a lot of people right now. It's like called starseeds and light workers, and those are the people who has a contract coming down to this earth. They're actually what you call like they're working. You know, it's like that they're here on this earth to complete their mission, and they're here to be part of the ascension. And now the world is awakening. And what do you know from the galactics, what they're saying about this awakening,
Okay.
what's happening?
That's a very good question. I'm glad you asked it, Rose. From what I hear from them, we're being watched. We need to, and we hear it, we even hear it on the news, we do need to save our planet. So when we come in from where we are, which is our home, we volunteer to come in here. And right now, a lot of the kids, the children that are coming in, have some remembrance. Just like Alda, my friend, he remembered, which was many years ago because he died at the age of 70, but he knew that he was coming into this planet to help the planet. They're volunteering, they actually volunteer to come in and help. And many of the younger generation of the children coming in, the indigo children,
Yes.
are understanding so much. Just look at some of the variety shows on television. America's Got Talent, these little kids that are able to sing, it's a remembrance from their previous lives. But their main reason for them coming in, I'm going to say reason, is for them to help. So they're coming in with more memory than what we used to come in with. They're not sure and they need help and they need guidance. And I need to tell anybody that's watching this, if you have a child that might talk about something that might have happened in a previous life, please, if they say you weren't my mother in my last life or my father, if you can, try to listen. It's very, very important. These children are very, very special that are coming in right now. And they are remembering, but we are here in a very low density. So they also need help. They need help. Don't, when they say they have an imaginary friend.
Right.
Yes, they do have an imaginary friend. I had this with my granddaughter. She used to take her imaginary friend. It was a little doll everywhere. But I was beginning to open up, so I listened to her. I love fairies. She would talk about fairies. And today, I love fairies. I believe that they exist and they're helping us. So don't say, oh, no, I'm taking you to a psychiatrist. It's not necessary. It may be, but listen to them. We need help here,
Yeah.
and they're coming in to help us.
Oh, please, like when you're taking the psychologist for a child, please be careful, even with the adults experiencing awakening, because I've been wrongly diagnosed and put into hospital a few times on my awakening, and because medical field doesn't know what's spiritual awakening. Automatically, when you say you have a spirit talking to you, and you could be able to connect it to other entities, other souls, and they automatically think you are crazy, and they don't have anybody's spiritual guidance. And I think maybe down the road in the hospitals and these mental facilities, they should have somebody who's spiritual, could tell the difference. Is it really insanity, or is it spiritual awakening?
Do you find, though, Rose, that more people are beginning to understand a little bit more now because we are opening up to a lot of this? So there is more tolerance of people that are saying, a lot of schizophrenics, maybe they're hearing voices from beyond, not
Right.
necessarily here.
And I took to prove my point. After I had enough, and I took a mental evaluation, and I came out. There's no mental illness. There's no personal disorder. Nothing. But so many people wrongly get misdiagnosed like that.
Yes, because
And I think right now I can't say anything about with my life, because I changed, what I'm advising the people to do. I changed my surroundings, I add more spiritual people around me, so there is more understanding. But if I was continue to hang out and try to deal with the people who had no, like, some people just refuse it. Some people, they just don't want to believe it. They're on third dimension. And if I hang around with those people all the time, that's also kind of make you question your own self.
So, my advice to people that are going through what we have both been going through
Right.
is to seek out a spiritual advisor of some kind, someone that I would say thinks out of the box. So just explain your situation. If you feel, if you go to, and I don't want to say there's anything wrong with psychiatrists, we need them, but if they truly don't understand what you're talking about, go maybe to someone else and explain your situation. Of course, it's possible you definitely do need pills. Not you personally, but people out there do. And I don't want to say don't take the pills.
Exactly.
But they're beginning to keep more of an open mind. And this is a very important message to people that are out there that are saying, but I hear, okay, I also heard, I didn't know until I had someone like Aldo come into my life, that what I was hearing was great. I was suddenly seeing there was so much more going on. So we have to be, it's a fine line.
It is a fine line, and also I think it's like before I've been on the, I've been forced being on that mental, like at the mental health facility, they forced me to have some medications, and with the horrible side effects, and I had no choice because at certain point it's like, you know, if they convince your family you have something wrong, and then your family could force things. And I think my advice before you putting these serious medication into somebody's body, and check with the spiritual mentor, spiritual guidance, and then also with your doctor, and then, you know, make a decision. It's like wave out the bolt, like not just go with the one thing, and just explore both. Go to a spiritual center, find somebody, spiritual mentor and coach, and check to see, because don't rush to treat something way too fast, and with the giving the serious
that's great
medications.
advice.
I mean,
Connecting with the spiritual world can be beneficial into the physical world.
Absolutely, 100%, because they're watching us, so they have the answers, where we may have the answers, but we just don't realize we have the answers. When you're talking to the spirit world, they know that.
So if you see someone come forward and you know there's a message, but you don't know what the message is, and then you'll say to someone, oh, well, tell me about your grandmother, and they, well, what are you trying to tell me? You don't know what you're trying to tell them until, like, when I asked you certain things. How do you help those people connect? Because you don't know really what that message is, but you know there is one.
I can only tell for myself how I can perceive this. It's a form of telepathy. Once you ask, for myself, not everybody does it this way, I have to have a question to be able to connect. I know that. I can talk, but it comes through much better, because whoever it is that's giving me the answer is in the spirit world. So they come forward, just like us sitting here, we're talking. The one that would maybe want to know the question and answer will give me that question. And they're here. So if someone gives me a question, it's like I feel it. I don't see them, but I hear them. They line up. So the one appropriate that is there to answer will give me the answer. So if you came forward with a question, I am pretty confident the right person that can give the answer from the spirit world will come forward and transmit it through me.
So my husband's grandmother keeps coming forward,
Okay.
but I don't know what she's trying to say. I think the message is for my daughter, but I see her.
Okay. Now, just as a little disclaimer from my point of view, but I normally get the right people. It's not like we have an open telephone line,
No.
but I am feeling something, Dawn. I am feeling that it is for your daughter. I feel that it's a relative that is protecting her, but there's something going on. How old is your daughter?
30.
3?
30.
Okay, from what I hear, there's something bothering her. I feel it. And is there a grandmother involved in this? Okay.
I don't, that's who keeps coming forward.
Yes. Okay. They're trying to give her some advice. It's very important. And I know that you have this spiritual feeling. Whatever comes through to you, I'm not sure how open your daughter is, but please, whatever messages that you feel you're getting, you are accurate, Dawn. You're accurate. I won't necessarily put it on the air here, but I feel that it's very important that you listen. There is something bothering her, and there is, her grandmother is helping with your help, and it's coming. You have the answers, you, the mom, okay? So don't doubt whatever you feel. Whatever you're telling her is real, okay? It's real. And you need to explain this to your daughter. I'm not going to say that it's bad or good, it's okay. But please take note of the messages. You are receiving them. You both are receiving them, actually.
And how do you help a non-believer
Okay, yes.
believe?
Well, yeah, that's true. I guess I can even call myself a non-believer. I always believed there was something. I had to be hit on the head to show me and draw. I was drawing things from other lifetimes. By example. That's the best way that I can tell you. A non-believer will follow and listen to you by example. And gradually, if they're ready, not everybody is ready, but if they're ready, they will begin to see it. We get so much validation. I've had it in my own life. I recently got engaged, and my fiance did not really understand this, but over the last 6 months, we've had so much validation that it's incredible not to see this. Unfortunately, we both lost children. He lost a son and I lost my daughter. I didn't expect to hear from my daughter. It's only a little while ago, but my friends know, as you know, the validation that I've had. It's all through validation, Dawn. Continue, don't stop. My message is don't stop, continue. They may get fed up and say, leave me alone with this, which I feel that's what's happening, but do it. You. Okay, sure. Yeah, we're going to take a short break for a commercial. If anybody out there would like to call, please call into the show. I'm here for another half an hour. Thank you.
A true story, Call Me Zena, is the telling of Sally Bernard. Born in London, England at the end of the Second World War, she came to the U.S. in 1979. A mother of 2 and grandmother of 4, she settled in Florida and worked in real estate. While going through a difficult time in her life, she was admitted into a hospital overnight in December of 2005. While settling back into her life, she began having vivid dreams and documenting them. By the 3rd dream, a lady gave her a message to draw. With no artistic background or interest in art or history, Sally listened to her dreams and grabbed paper and crayons. Today, she has over 150 pieces of inspiring art and poetry. This book follows her journey and interpretations of these messages. She describes in detail how she's able to astral project and who she has met along her travels, including her spirit guides. This book will show you how anything is possible with an open mind. These events have changed Sally's life's direction, and this book will show you how to change yours. Purchase Call Me Zena on Amazon today.
This world, this life, this illusion. What is going on, we ask? What is happening? Why not take time and see what is happening? This world as we know it, it seems so real, and yet so far away from where we've come. Corruption, greed, anger, power, revenge. Please wake up. We can change what is around us. How, we may ask? Learn to go back to where we were. Then we will have the clues. Then we can change and go forward. Please take the time. Do not fall into the game which we have put upon ourselves. We can change. We can make a difference. We have the power, each and every one of us. Go in peace. Go with love. Go as one. Zena. You have been watching Call Me Zena with your host, Sally Bernard. As an artist, author, and spiritual experiencer, know that you could always seek me out for resources. Visit artbysallybernard.com today. Now, back to the show. Well, hi everybody. I hope you listened to some of my prose. I believe it was on the commercial there. I also, not only did I become an artist overnight, I also started to write prose, what they call it automatic writing. I didn't know what it was, but I'm writing all these things from spirit. So that's also in my book. It's called Call Me Zena. It's on Amazon, and you can read a lot more about me. I would be happy if you read the book and then ask me questions, because I have the answers, because I wrote the book.
So can you share one like some information from your book, the person who never read? And I know it's the astral projection, you're
I
traveling.
think I lost my knife.
Oh, no, it's here.
Oh,
You're fine.
okay, sorry.
It's like they could kind of get a feeling what's in the book.
Well, my book, basically, I had no idea what was happening to me in my dream. It was, quote, in my dreams. But I'd wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning and I'd start documenting things that I had experienced. Not quite right. I would wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning. I would go back to sleep, having to get out for work at 5:30, and I would start my traveling. It was so real to me that I could remember when I woke up, and I would document the places that I had actually seen as I was traveling. I've since heard that 3 o'clock in the morning is a good time, and I did not know that. But if you ask me questions, which are in my book from 18 years ago, I see it as vividly because I was there, more so than the dreams that I have here, because I don't remember them.
Do you still travel, astral project today?
I actually don't travel nearly as much. I was going 3 times a week for nearly a year. They were taking me down this alleyway, and I met this lady who told me that I could paint. I saw many different planets. I went onto the planets. I can describe that to you.
Yeah.
I see it completely in detail.
Like-
On one particular one, I get into a vessel. There'd be 2 or 3 people in the vessel with me, and they would take me to another planet. There was one in particular that I think I kind of got the feeling that it was like a top secret. You weren't meant to know it. However, I'm going to explain a little bit about
Is
that.
this the entities taking it's like what they look like?
Like us. I mean, whether they presented themselves like me or us as humans here, because I didn't want to be scared. I was never scared, actually. They'd take me, and they would take me to these planets. But this one in particular stands out very much to me, Rose, because it wasn't a big rocket ship, or a spaceship, or whatever we want to call it. It was a small, thin little ship. They took me, and I get there, and I could hear a lot of static, and I so wanted to hear what was going on. And I believe I wrote this in my book. And he said to me, this is kind of very top secret. I don't know if I can let you in here. But they presented what they called like a little credit card, and they put it in, and he took me into this place. My only that I can remember of this, because I remember the details, but I wasn't there very long. They let me in, and they were showing me things. Again, they kept saying, we don't know whether you really should be here. However, they did tell me that it was something to do with AI, and they were explaining to me in a lot of detail about what was going to go on, which I feel that was going to be happening to our planet. But the static was so bad, whether that was what they wanted, they didn't want me to hear that much. Should I be telling this story? I don't know, but I think I have it in my book anyway. That's what I experienced. And so it's something to do with AI.
So you and I, we both agree. It's like we have a feeling. It's like we're kind of AI too. It's like because we are right. Like we are intelligence. We're.
Well, I began, not to interrupt you, but I got interested in AI after experience this, and this was many years ago. And I feel that my message that I feel that I was getting, that the other planets that we go to have much more intelligence. We're gaining here. We are gaining rapidly with intelligence, with technology, but they are very, very forward. So in answer to the AI question, because I don't know what they were trying to tell me, but they were, excuse me, very forward within what we've done an awful lot over the last 50 years. We've
Oh, yeah.
come to understand so much. If we go another, excuse me, I'm sorry.
You want to have a sip?
Yeah, thank you. Another 50 years, we will be catching up to the other planets. However, they will be 50 years in advance, so they will even be on that territory that we are.
Right.
think
Yeah,
it's
I
good.
had that feeling too. It's like, it was coming to me. It's is AI is the human creation, AI, and it was coming to me, GI, God creation, and artificial intelligence, God intelligence. It's like we are
Well, I
God
think we
created
could probably
intelligence.
do another whole show on that because
Right.
it tweaked my interest, and I'm so interested in that we are gaining a lot of knowledge. For anybody out there that feels that they may know a little bit more about this, please call into my show. I will answer to the best of my ability. I have gained a lot of knowledge into this, but I'm nowhere near where I want to be. So if any viewers want to talk about AI, I'd be happy to answer their questions.
That's a very interesting topic to talk about, and it's very important.
Well, I have part of my collective that comes to me, I believe, and what they tell me is the Galactic Federation. I knew nothing about this at all, but they give me, it's not just to explain a little bit, it's not just one person within that federation. It's the ones just like for the questions that we ask. If I ask them a question, just like we're sitting here, they'll get someone to come forward that will answer what the question is. They don't know everything either. They're just more in a higher vibrational energy than we are.
Oh, I know they
So-
don't know everything. It's like they
I mean,
almost
and
burn
not
my
to give them
brain.
credit. No, I'm sorry, guys. You do know a lot. You know a lot more than we know in this dimension. However, they still go up in dimensions too.
Right.
You know, there's fifth, sixth. People ask me how many dimensions. I feel there's 12 dimensions that we
I
have.
I
Absolutely.
believe that
But
too.
some people do,
Yeah.
as you know, they
I
say
believe
7,
that.
8. I don't have all the answers. I just know that I have been contacted.
I believe that where the source is, that's like going up the 13th dimension. But that's it. That's
Well,
like, that's
yeah,
the
that's
top.
another show
That's the
too. You
top.
know, and again, we all have different views on that. I see what you're saying because I do not want anybody to think that I'm not taking God out of this equation, but it's a God source that
God source.
I'm actually contacting to my belief anyway. They've given me a lot of validation.
When I was 2017, when I started to having my Kundalini awakening, when I started having the Akashic records was available to me, I was getting downloads constantly. They weren't galactic beings. They were things like don't sleep, don't sleep. I was just power napping, and they were keep loading extra information. After 3 months later, I couldn't handle all that information. My brain basically went black.
We
And
can tell them to stop, Rose. I've found
I
that out
I
too.
didn't know that. It's like I
Yes,
just
no. If we feel you can change-
I was overloaded with the information, and then everything went black. And 10 days later, I wake up in the hospital. It's like and then they said I was there for 10 days, and I had a trip to a hospital in the ambulance, I remember. But I said, what happened to me? They said it's like you overload. My brain
Well, they're
basically like
also-
a computer.
they're in
It just
contact
burned.
with us, but they also know that we can only take so much of this. I know with me, after about maybe 20, 25 minutes, I have a girlfriend in Melbourne Beach that we talk to on the telephone. She knows and hears in my voice that I've changed, but after about half an hour, she says, Sally, we have to stop. I realize that. But one clue they give me that they're always here, when we get these messages, I always end the conversation to Marita or whoever is calling in to me at that time, or friends of mine. Does that make sense? That's their key to let me know that it was them answering. So
Yeah.
there's so many different variations of this, and we all have our own particular.
Because sometimes we are channeling, and so it happens to you, it happens to me. It's like when we're channeling, there's sometimes we don't even know it's our thought or their thought.
Yeah, but another thing that happened to me, and I tried to put a little humor into this because I think it's important too. It shouldn't be all so serious. It's great. It's wonderful. I love humor. I love comedy. But I would always, and this is not that funny, But I always crave something. At the end of a show or when I'm talking to her, I say, can I have some chocolate? I know I need chocolate. And she's going, yeah, we have chocolate. But this is something actually that they're telling me, eat chocolate, which is fine because I love that. So, you know, it's not all that always serious. You know, we take it like, oh my gosh, this is happening. It's beautiful. It's lovely. Guys, if you're out there and anything is happening, if you want to research it, but your life will change. It has for me. It's just, life is an adventure, as you know.
It's
the
amazing.
Hospital part of it. There's this and that, the depression. But if we can raise above that and just learn to really enjoy our life, to know, in my belief, anything is possible, then let's go for it, Rose. Go for it.
And also now, because of the internet age and all the social media, YouTube, people able to production their own the little programs and, you know, a lot of ways of bringing their stories. And I benefit watching other people who went through spiritual awakening on YouTube. That was because around me there was nobody, but some people around the world, some people, they had these videos and it was very helpful to me. And that's why I wanted to do my show, to be, you know, helpful to somebody looking for some answers, because we get energized, we get power saying, it's like, I'm not the crazy, I'm not insane, there is other people out there, look at them. It just, you know, kind of confirming what we go through.
We attract what we put out. We attract. That's how we became friends.
Right.
We didn't know I didn't know that you knew. You didn't know that I knew. But within 10 minutes, we were talking this way, and that for everybody listening out there.
Do you want to tell the viewers how we met?
Go ahead.
It's your show. You tell them.
Okay. Well, we were introduced by a mutual friend. But within a few minutes, I was telling her and explaining things to you, things that I had seen. Rose is, as you may not know where her accent's from, but she's from Turkey. And I was drawing from Turkey. And many little things that are happening, we are so connected. And you'll find that with your friends too, because it's the law of attraction. I will say something and she may even know the answer. I'm having this now with my fiance. He'll say something to me, I'm giving him the answer is exactly what he's thinking. Kind of know then you're on the right track, you know. It's different for everybody. I can only tell you my experiences, but that's how it works for me. I find that I'm being attracted to and led to the right people, as you are too, Rose.
I think it was, amazing experience, like meeting you, and then I got the confirmations, like the knowing. Like this knowing comes to you after I met you. When we separated, and I went back to my home, this knowing, it's like, and then also said this knowing said you are sisters.
It's a great
and
feeling.
then gave me a vision.
Yes.
And then you got the visions, and we confirmed it. And then your pictures from the times we were in Ottoman Empire.
And why would I? Rose was living in Miami at that time. I'm living here in South Florida in Boca, and I'm suddenly saying I have to move to Miami. Why? What is this drive? But however, it reversed itself and you came up this way.
Yes,
So.
we were gonna, I was going through a divorce and I was moving back to Miami. I had a place over there to stay. And Sally, I said, Sally, it's like, do you wanna take this spiritual awakening further and share with other people? Maybe we could do something. And she's like, okay, I'm coming. And she was putting her house on for sale. But then after that, COVID came, and after COVID and, you know, all that experience, I decided to come back to Boca and close to my daughter and close to my soul sister here.
I also want to give the Brooklyn Cafe, and Dawn, I want to let you know this too, as far as the Brooklyn Cafe and where I'm sitting right now. 2.5 years ago, and a friend of mine was actually here. It wasn't the right timing. He kept saying to me, come to the Brooklyn Cafe, they'll love you. And I'm going, they'll love your art. I didn't come here. However, you knew about me, as Dawn will tell you. You came, and when you said come to the Brooklyn Cafe, I never gave it another thought. And here I am, and I'm so happy that I appeared here.
It's
Thank you.
wonderful. So we both end up at the Brooklyn Cafe. It's like AMP Productions, right? AMP
Great
Productions.
group of people. If you're in Boca, stop by and listen to all their guests, including me and including Rose.
Will you help mentor people if they want to connect more to their spirituality?
Absolutely, yes. I would love to do that.
Can you travel? Do people travel and get stuck, or do they always come back?
Well, again, this is just my take on it. They will come back. I have heard stories that they can get lost out there, but what actually happens is the fear within you. If you're scared and you think that might happen, it's the same as here. It happens. You can come back. So, in my answer to that, try not to have fear. I think fear takes away the whole process of this. And what you believe, and it's the same here, can happen. I am not scared. I've gone anywhere and I've never gotten stuck. However, my friend Aldo, who totally believed and taught me so much, the only advice he gave me, he said, you're not going to get stuck, but try not to go when there's thunder. And that stayed in my mind. Or lightning. I said, well, can I control it? He said, absolutely. Thunder and lightning, stay in your bed. Okay, so that was my advice from him. I think he's telling me that.
Because it's pouring outside.
Yes, I know.
Do you think people, what the first step to connecting to spirituality or to those beyond, what would their first step be?
Is to believe in yourself, believe that there is something else out there. I mean, it's hard because we're programmed to believe that this is it. But if you begin to open up to say, how nature, just look at nature, see how that happens. How does this happen? There is a greater force. So in my belief, we are not alone. We are pretty low on the scale here, but we have to start somewhere. And for myself, I'm opening up to believe that there are many, many more possibilities. There is so much more out there. I totally believe there's life, as I'm telling you, because I've visited the other planets. We are not alone. But it takes time, Dawn, because we're so programmed not to believe this. But just open up a little bit, and little by little, as Aldo used to tell me, little by little, just take it easy. Go 2 days, take what happens in and take it in, start again, and start your journey.
And we have, like in this world, same time, there's a different dimension, there's a other life going, but we can't see it. It's like we have actual duplicates,
Well, we
duplicate
choose.
lives.
It depends where we're on our travels. I think in order to learn, it's just like here. If you open a book and you read the ending of a book, it's not going to be as mysterious.
Absolutely.
So we choose to learn and our journey. So from what I got from my guide here is that if we knew everything when we came, and I believe, and that's another show, that in the very beginning we did know everything, but in order to learn and even appreciate what we're going through on this journey, we take it little at a time. We don't want to know the ending. Believe there's a higher power, believe that there's more, and we will travel through this and enjoy it.
Once I begged, I wanted to know more, and then they told me, and then after that it was so awkward. I felt like I was acting and I was a bad actress.
Well, that is
and
a classic
I
example.
lost, like, like for example, I supposed to be angry at something, and I know the ending of it. I couldn't get angry. I was like a horrible actress.
It's like knowing a movie, and
Yeah.
every part of that movie, you're not going to, if you know it's a movie, which I believe is
and then
here,
and then I realized,
not gonna
yes,
enjoy it as
knowing
much.
is not
Yeah.
good. It's like it's better
It is
not
when
to.
we're ready, and we're ready. So now I want to, don't listen to me, please listen to me. I am ready to know more. But in the beginning, as we start this, we need to experience is very important. And I think I'm being told it's the end of the show. And I've
Yeah,
had
a
a
few
wonderful
minutes,
time.
yeah.
And thank you, Rose.
Thank you for having me, sister.
Thank you. Thank you. Please tune in next Monday at 3 o'clock, the Brooklyn Cafe, and here I am. Thank you. Beautiful. Coincidence or not, it's time to trust your intuition and knowings. Thank you for joining me through this journey of self-discovery and awakening with the help of my spirit guides. I'm Sally Bernard, and you can find my book, artwork, and contact through artbysallybernard.com. Join us next week. This has been Call Me Zena.